Time to take a look at our pocketbooks here. Yes, it's time for Faith in Finance. Drew Blazsik is in studio with us right now. Drew, how are you this morning? You doing good?
I'm doing pretty good. How's your 2 Lent going so far?
Absolutely fantastic in the area of conviction and so-so in the area of follow-through. So, I'm trying.
I like that.
Yeah.
You're honest.
Yeah, very good.
Hey, you know, the Lord will straighten it out at some point. We're going to get there. Talking about straightening it out, we've been talking about we've been talking about the teachings of the church regarding economies, particularly in the way that we lend and borrow money. Now we're going to talk about some practicalities associated with the way we've misused that in our own economy.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about mortgages. We talked about debt, how we try to get away from debt. And what is the excuse we always use? We say, well, you have to go in debt for a home. And house prices are so expensive. If you had to guess, what is the average house price in the United States?
I'm going to let you just told us. I'm flabbergasted.
I'm startled, yeah.
And I guarantee you our listeners are not thinking what it actually is.
So in 2023, the fourth quarter, the average home sale price, doesn't mean that's the average home value.
Right.
The sold price, $492,000.
$500,000.
$500,000 for that.
Wow.
As average.
That's
As average.
Yeah.
And we're not
United
just saying
States.
the average in L.A. or in Oregon. We're talking about the average across the country at $500,000.
$500,000.
That's crazy.
So if you look at, and I wanted to give the listeners a good idea how to calculate how much interest you're paying. So I did the math on a $300,000 home. I think that sounds pretty good for Toledo. The average interest rate is 6.8%, according to the Federal Reserve. And if you did that, you did a $300,000 home for a 6.8% interest rate, you're going to pay about, before taxes and insurance, about $2,000 a month.
This is a
Before
30-year mortgage.
Taxes
For a
and
30-year
insurance.
mortgage. So
Now, throw the
$2,000.
taxes on top of that and the insurance, you've got a $2,700 payment.
Yes. And so is it smart to pay off your house sooner? So I was going to kind of talk about that. Is it a good investment? If you're paying 6.8%, yeah, I think it could be a good investment to start putting down like $1,000 or $100 extra a month to try to pay that off. How do you calculate how? So here's a good way to look at it. If you're going to pay about $2,000 a month on a $300,000 mortgage, they prioritize the interest of the loan up front. Yeah. So of that $2,000 you're paying, over $1,725 is going towards interest.
You get $200 toward the actual principal.
And then the rest of it, $250 is going towards the actual principal.
Oh my gosh.
So how do you calculate that? This is very simple for the listener. You take how much you owe on the mortgage, how much you owe left. You take that interest. So if it's 6.9%, you divide it by 12 months.
Yeah.
You want to know the interest per month. And then you take that interest and you multiply it times how much you owe. That's the interest you're paying each month.
Wow.
Each month.
Each month.
That's why we can pay this enormous amount, because we're not talking about 6.8% interest on the total amount of the house. It gets multiplied over and over and over. You're charged for the interest,
especially at the beginning, because if you're owing the $300,000, you take the 0.069, you divide it by 12. That's 0.58%. Multiply it times how much you owe each month. That's what you're paying towards the interest.
Wow. My gosh.
So is it smart to pay it off? If you put $100 on that mortgage per month for the life of the mortgage, you would pay that off 50 months sooner, and you would save $67,000 on the
$100 a month.
$100 a month.
Wow.
You would save about $67,000 for the life of the mortgage. If you paid for the whole life of the mortgage.
Yeah, right.
$67,000.
That's how much you would save. If you did not do that, you're paying over $400,000 on interest for the life of the mortgage.
So the house is $300,000. You're paying $400,000 for the interest. You're paying a total of $700,000
roughly, yeah,
for a $300,000 house. I did run the numbers on that average cost. $492,000 is the average cost last quarter of last year. Payment before taxes and insurance $3,300. Total amount paid $1,200,000.
And that's
crazy.
And I just want to say, the people that do not have debt, have less stress. They're better fathers. They're better husbands. life is much easier if the essentials, housing, clothing, and food, and we don't have to go in debt for it. So if we could somehow try to pay off these mortgages,
Yeah.
I think that would help out society.
I'm going to go to my boss for a raise. He just said no. No.
That's
I'm going to ask him again. He said no again.
No again.
Okay, doggone it. I don't have anybody else to ask.
Well, thanks, Drew, and interest-free advice. I love that. Absolutely free advice from Drew Blazsik, and we appreciate you coming in every Friday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Lord bless you. Thank you, Drew.
And we got a bunch
Lots to
of stuff
think on.
coming up as well, so hopefully you can kind of strap in and stick around for the 8 o'clock hour here on Morning Offering.
Can't wait. A whole lot happening yet. Father Jeff Walker coming up. Debbie Georgiani. Wendy's coming back around. Hope you stay with us.